was ugly as the Bills lose in Miami in just a grotesque effort on all sides of the football. Coaching a disaster, quarterback play a disaster, running the football a disaster, the defense a disaster, and now the standings a disaster as well. This is not good. Glad you're with us, though, here on Bill Matic, the podcast where we go live after every single Bills game. Watch us on X, watch us on YouTube, watch us on Instagram Live as well, and make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube channel. That way you get notified when we go live. We've got big picture stuff here to break down, okay? So let's do the big picture stuff as part of this loss. Number one, this is the biggest thing. You can pick up pieces to a loss. You can get motivated after a loss. You can play better than in your worst effort of the season, which this was. But you cannot change the standings. That is what it is. And the standings now are daunting for the Bills. As the Buffalo Bills round the corner into mid-November, this is the situation. A third loss versus a situation where the Buffalo Bills coming into this game were already trailing in the division to the New England Patriots makes things mighty difficult right now. Because before this, you still had that game at Gillette Stadium so that you could ultimately control your destiny. Now you can't. Now with the win that the Patriots got against the Bucs, now you're chasing the rest of the way, and you've got to cross fingers that somebody else beats the Patriots. And if you don't take this division, you're on the road 3 times in the playoffs. And I can't sit here and tell you, like I did last week, well, beating the Chiefs means it could force KC to be on the road 3 times. That's a really difficult path, and they've never done it. And then wipe that challenge away from the Bills. Going on the road 3 weeks in the playoffs is a daunting mountain to climb. And so that's part of this. Just in the division, you've got to win this football game. You've got to keep the pressure up on the Patriots. And the Patriots have not had their bye yet. So they move to 8-2, and you fall to 6-3. Okay, that's the first part of the division. The second part is the third loss now makes you fighting with a bunch of teams for the final spot as a wild card. Okay, you're already now in a dire situation in the AFC because now you are the 6th or the 7th seed in the AFC with 3 losses. Those are the last 2 teams in. So just from a big picture standpoint, this is a crushing loss because it really forces you to now be damn near perfect the rest of the way. You don't get another gimme, another mulligan. This was it, and you use it up already with a third loss against a terrible Dolphins team. That's the big picture here in the standings. The second picture, the second part of the picture is this. The wild swings of execution and performance by this Bills team is maddening. It really is. It is maddening because you are good enough to have that incredible comeback against the Ravens. You are good enough to have a top to bottom, better than the Chiefs game plan. You have the ability to outduel a squad, to really dominate in many ways a team that's been the barometer of success of the AFC in the NFL for 7 years now and have gone to 3 consecutive Super Bowls. The Bills have the effort in them that they showed against Kansas City. And yet they also have this. They also have this. And that is excruciating to reconcile with. How can you be that and this? How can you be that and this? That is a very difficult thing to try to reconcile. And that is a question for the guys in that locker room, and that is a question for that coaching staff. How can you be good enough to outplay the Chiefs for 60 minutes of football and then bad enough to look like that against the Dolphins. And let's make no mistake about it. The Dolphins season is so over. It's been over. They fired their general manager. There's questions about their quarterback's future. They're probably going to have to rip up the entire roster. That is a team begging for you to put them out of their misery. Begging. This is a team that would have been as easy as you're going to get in the schedule to just put your foot down and crush them. How can you be a team that obliterates the Panthers and then a squad that is dead like the Dolphins, you allow to come to life like that? How does that happen? And thirdly, big picture. Yeah, there's guys injured, and yes, some of them will come back. But there is no cavalry coming after the trade deadline. And I heard a lot of this on sports talk and in comments and on social media around Bills fans. Got to get a wide receiver. Got to get help on the defense. Got to get another corner. Got to get this. Got to get that. It ain't coming now. It ain't coming. And you want to crucify Brandon Beane for not doing anything on Tuesday. That's fine. It seemed to me the price was very high in where they were shopping. Quinnen Williams and Jalen Waddle both demanding first-round picks. I don't love either one of those guys enough to give up a first-round pick, but you want to say, hey, Beane, you got to be desperate. You got to be urgent. You got to go for it right now. That's fine. I'm not going to stop you on that one. But the big picture here is all of that, hey, well, at least there's the deadline. Hey, at least Beane can do some shopping. Hey, at least they can add something. That's out the window. The cavalry ain't coming. This is the group of guys you got. You got to go to war with these guys. There ain't no help. And so I've done this show this year. I decided to do this show this year for a couple of reasons. But one was I really did feel like this was the breakthrough year for the Bills. I felt like the Chiefs were naturally going to come back to the pack because of the exhaustion that comes with so many Super Bowl runs in a row, and losing a Super Bowl historically, you just don't get back there. Historically speaking, you lose a Super Bowl, you do not get back there, you do not win it. So I just felt like a natural moment in time. This was the Bills' moment. And I started this to not only chronicle this journey, which I thought before the season would end in a Super Bowl, and this final season at Highmark Stadium. And while I'm still going to keep the faith on that, I will tell you the belief that you need to have today that this Bills team can do what they have been unable to do, which is break through in January. That flame starts to flicker because you're now talking about more than likely having to play 3 games in 3 weeks to get out of the AFC. You're not getting that number 1 bye more than likely. Whether you win the division or not, you're playing 3 games of the playoffs. And that means you got to be great 3 weeks in a row. That's what worries me right now. This Bills team has not shown it can go on a run to play 3 great games in a row, which you will need. They've got 1. They can put 1 or 2 together, but can you put 3 together? It will take 3 great games, especially if you're a wild card and going on the road 3 weeks. Can you put 3 great games together in 3 weeks? And that optimism, that to me is where the flame flickers right now. Okay? Let's get into the weeds here, as we always do on Bill Matic. We get into the weeds on both the good, the bad, and then at the end of the day, the bigger than football type stuff. So let's get into the shouts here on the day. What does that look like, as this is a team that is desperate for some good news? Not a lot came out today. All right. So if there's any positives, Cole Bishop and Maxwell Hairston have proven to now step up. They're good in space. They're good getting up to the football. They're good creating turnovers. Bishop had a really great game last week against the Chiefs, and then today comes up with another INT. Maxwell Hairston also coming up with an INT. You can see that those two guys, youth, agility, athleticism, certainly is what you need in that secondary and what we knew the Bills had lacked for so much of the first half of the season. That's about it. I don't want to go crazy. I mean, look, you can say there's maybe a play here, a play there, and the frantic comeback at the end that fell way short. but I'm not even going to bother doing that. That's just a waste of space. So now it's time to look at the hard knocks and the negatives that came out of it. All right, there's a lot of them, obviously. And we got to start with the quarterback. And I think it's completely fair to ask what is going on with Josh. Josh has not had a season that would equate to last year, that would even come close to equating to last year. And I think he's got much better football in him. I think there's much better football to be played. Why he seems to go through these long spells of not making plays, I don't know, but it is completely inexcusable, completely. And this is on the quarterback, to have been shut out into the fourth quarter by the Miami Dolphins. It is inexcusable. The fumble where they're trying to mount a comeback and he's dragging, defenders for yards. It's a terrible moment for that play. It's a terrible moment. And there's just been these kind of bubbles of time and space and plays during this season where Josh has just not looked the part. And I don't know why. I mean, you can say he doesn't have the weapons, but I mean, look, last year, his level of play was sharper. His level of play was greater. His level of play was it was grand. It was next level. It was MVP worthy. He has not matched that this year. He has not matched it. And so you have to start there. Nobody obviously, wants to pick too badly at a guy that just won an MVP. But if they're going to win a Super Bowl, if they're going to get to a Super Bowl, he's got to be great. We know that. And that's not unfair. That's not unfair. That has to be with every quarterback we see. The Eagles win a Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts is great. Patrick Mahomes wins the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes has been great. When the Rams won the Super Bowl, Matthew Stafford was great. Go down the list. If you're going to get there, you've got to be great. The quarterback in today's NFL has got to be great. He has not been great for a long time this year, and today was his worst effort so far. And in the 3 losses, he has been lost at times. In all 3 of those losses, he has been lost. He was lost against the Patriots at times. He was lost against the Falcons in a terrible effort as well for the Bills. He was lost for much of today, and it's inexcusable, and it's really hard to explain. So let's get into the offense here. The fact that team, that side of the football against that defense, one of the worst run defenses in football, could be that lethargic and that ineffective into the fourth quarter I'm sorry, it's laughable. The Dolphins might not pitch another half shutout, another 2 to 3 quarters of zeros on the clock the rest of the way. That is probably going to be the best 3 quarters of football from a scoreboard standpoint the Dolphins play all season long. And I don't care if they needed a wide receiver or not at the deadline. They had enough to do more than that. There is just no excuse for that. There's no excuse for that team to be like that. And Joe Brady, look, there's a lot of good with Joe Brady's play calling, but my goodness, against the Dolphins, it was pathetic. They could not get anything going. And that goes quarterback, coordinator, offensive line, head coach, everybody on the skill guys that could not create separation, the wide receivers that for some reason were lost at sea. It is in every single way, shape, and form comical that the Bills could not put up points through 3 quarters of football against the Dolphins, against a team that is absolutely dead. Awful, 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 awful. The Achane late touchdowns are also crushing. It's a 16-6 game. And look, the offense should have put up more points. Who knows what happens if it's a 28-16 Bills lead? Who knows what this looks like? But late in the game, you're trying to hold on for bare life. You got to get your offense the football back. And Achane goes 59 yards through the heart of the defense, makes 3 to 4 guys miss. I don't know what film is going to look like, what film room is going to look like this week, but watching that play, you're down 16-6. You've got to get the football back. I know you might be over pursuing to try to get something done, make something happen, but you watch that. That's a slalom through 4 guys. Everybody missing the tackle. Devon Achane, this is not Walter Payton. He's good. You can't allow a guy to make 4 of your guys miss when you're holding on to that lead. That is grotesque. And then the next capper to put it out of reach. Again, you're trying to get stops late in this game. The Dolphins made it look too easy. The Hairston, he gives up the big play to Jalen Waddle. And so that's a brutal beat back of the end zone. Got to look at him there as well. He's been very, very good, but that's a bad beat. The defense allowing long drives to the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins don't do this to anybody. To anybody. Look at some of these scoring drives in the first half of this game. You cannot allow Tua and that offense to do this. And by the way, Achane went for 174 in this game. But I mean, Tua throws the 2 picks, but you also have a couple of drives that are long clock eating drives that the Dolphins are able to kind of shove down the Bills' throats, and that's unacceptable. The first scoring drive is 12 plays, 92 yards, 7.5 minutes off the clock. Can't happen. They get another field goal to make it 16-0. That's a 10-play drive. You gave the pathetic Dolphins a 10 and 12 play drive in this game? Come on. Again, cannot happen. If you let the Dolphins do that, what's going to happen to the playoffs? And I'll say this, the dreaded trip to Miami. This is an Achilles heel for so many teams that I don't know if they get lulled into sleep because of the nice weather. I don't know if they hit South Beach the night before. I don't know if it's because it's always a partial crowd. If you're a Bills player, or you're a Patriots player, or you're a Steelers player, or you're a Cowboys player, or you're a Giants player, whatever. When you go to Miami, it's mostly your fans in the stands because Dolphins fans barely show up. Well, whatever the case is, go to Miami just tends to be one where guys do not focus. They do not play well down there. And there's been a lot of theories of this over the years. Look, I did shows with Bart Scott for many years on CBS Sports Radio, and Bart played in this division with the Jets, and he said, beware of going to Miami because guys go out. Guys go out the night before. And I don't know this on this trip. I don't know this about this team, but that's what Bart always said. You watch. He goes, nobody plays well in Miami when they go on the road there because guys like to go out. And the Bills played pathetic football. That was a pathetic effort. That was by far the ugliest effort they've had, not only this season, but I would say the last 5 years. Okay, so that's kind of picking at the wound there if you really want to go into it. We always try to find something that's a little bigger than us. We try to find something that might portend big things. And so let us try here, okay? Let us try to find something that might be a little mythical with honoring the Buffalo. Okay, you got to try to find something that might be not that bad at all. Maybe it's the wake-up call they needed. Maybe this is the thing. Maybe they got lulled into a sense of security after the Chiefs. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, that's really grasping at straws here. Maybe you need the wake-up call, but this is the rest of the way for the Bills. There's not a lot of breathers, everybody. There's not a lot of breathers. Okay, next up is the Buccaneers. Now, you get them at home, but we know the Buccaneers, despite losing to the Patriots today, are one of the better teams of the NFC. You go to Houston. Texans have been playing friskier football recently. Again, it's on the road too. You go to Pittsburgh against the Steelers team that right now is atop their division, although the Ravens are coming on strong. You do have the Bengals, which you would hope at that point. But again, the Bengals offense puts up points, and this Bills defense has proven to be leaky. You then got to go to Foxborough. You do get to go to Cleveland late in the season. You're a much better team than the Browns. Who knows? Maybe that's a Shador start or something like that. But even if it's Dylan Gabriel or whatever, you should win that one. You've got the Eagles at home, brutal matchup late, and then you wrap up against the Jets. There's wins there, but there's also a lot of potential potholes in that schedule as well, right? Bucks, Steelers, Patriots, Eagles. That's 4 games. At worst, you've got to go 2-2 there and then clean up against all the other opponents. At worst, you've got 2 more losses left. If you go 12-5, you're going to make the playoffs. But 11-6 doesn't guarantee anything. And so now it becomes, you got to start making some hay here. And so maybe this is the wake-up call where there is not another loss to be had, and you cannot take your eye off the prize at all. Also, hey, you're looking at a guy that tried to do his best to conjure up some good vibes around here for the Buffalo Bills. I just released this video. If you haven't seen it on my YouTube page, you got to watch it right now. I think it came out great. I went up to Buffalo for the game against the Saints, and the Saturday before the game, I bought out a bar for Bills fans out of the goodness of my heart. That's right. Went to Sandbaggers in Hamburg, Main Street, Hamburg. It's a golf simulator. It's an awesome sports bar. They got NFL all day Sunday. I highly encourage you to go over there. I think it's a great place. Absolutely great. Steve and the gang over there are always going to take care of you. I love it. They're the sponsor here on Bill Matic. We went there, and I opened up the tab for 2 hours. I said, it's on me, Bills fans. We got to bring good vibes, good mojo. And, hey, Bills, I'm doing my part around here. Now it's time for the team to do their part. Come on. Come on. So we did honor the Buffalo in opening up the bar tab. It was open. And if you watch the video, you won't believe the final tally. I'll just leave it at that. It should be a good omen. It should be a good omen. Check out that video on my YouTube page right now, the Buffalo bar tab. I bought out the bar for 2 hours, ended up going almost 3 hours. You'll see why. And then the final number, it's got the omen in it of a great year. But what is this? What is this? Make sure you get yourself to Sandbaggers Sports Bar and Grill, Hamburg, New York. They're awesome. They will take care of you. They got big screens. They got the golf simulator. They got 2 bars spread out, big space. They got everything over there. It's a comfortable, great hang in Hamburg, just down the street, a couple of miles from Highmark Stadium. Definitely worth your while if you're in Hamburg. All right, that's going to do it for us here on the Bill Matic. I highly encourage you to watch that video right now on the YouTube page. And make sure you're subscribed to this channel because we go live after every single Bills game. And for the final half of the season, even in between games, I'm going to be breaking down great stories, which we'll need after this loss, about the history of Highmark Stadium and some classic, epic games and performances from that stadium. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel, okay? Make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube channel so that you get notified of all of those videos that will drop. I've also got to watch DA Live, which recaps the entire NFL Sunday coming up later on tonight. We do that at 7:30 Eastern time on Sunday nights, 7:30 Eastern time Sunday nights, right here, all these same places you will get to see. Watch DA Live as well, so check it out. Going to be breaking down the entire day around the NFL, all right? So I'll see you then, and also I'll see you tomorrow morning, Monday morning, on Sirius XM's Mad Dog Sports Radio. I got the morning show each weekday morning, 6 until 9 Eastern time. All right, so check me out mornings on channel 82 on Sirius XM's Mad Dog Sports Radio. Until next time, everybody, try to forget this one. It was a brutality. I'm DA, Damon Amendolara, signing off. All right, we're out of here. Peace. Okay.